Hours after the unusual demand by Supreme Court Judge Iebc Now to have the IEBC reconstituted with urgency, Kenyans took to social media in support, crafting a hashtag Appoint Iebc Now, and that is on the X social media platform. The push by Kenyans quickly pushing the hashtag to the top of the trending topics on the X platform for the entire day. As Emmanuel To reports, Kenyans may have to wait until January next year to have the process of reconstituting the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission begin, with two matters at the Court of Appeal and the High Court blocking the nomination of the 9 members of the selection panel by President William Ruto.
Why don't we, for example, have a hashtag Appoint Iebc Now?
Taking cue from the hard-hitting statement and the rallying call by Supreme Court Judge Justice Iebc Now to have Kenyans push for the reconstitution of the electoral body, the hashtag Reconstitute IEBC Now has been the top trending topic in the country as Kenyans stand up in their numbers to push the message across with the creative bold placards and posts calling for the government to fast-track the process of hiring the commissioners. And even though the public mood is to have the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission reconstituted now, Kenyans may not get their wish or demands until 2 matters pending in the corridors of justice are dispensed with. A petition by Boniface Njogu filed at the Kiambu High Court in October, challenging the appointment of the nominees to the IEBC selection panel for lack of representation of persons living with disability, is the first spanner in the works. The petitioner has cited Article 10 and Article 54(2) of the Constitution as the basis for his case. Article 54(2) states that the state shall ensure the progressive implementation of the principle that at least 5% of the members of the public in elective and appointive bodies are persons with disability. He argues the composition of the panel does not have a representation of a person with disability. The matter is set to come up for judgment on the 25th of January next year, after the petitioner sought orders to stop the Attorney General and the Clerk of the Senate, Jeremiah Nyegenye, who is the Secretary to the Parliamentary Service Commission, from forwarding the names of the IEBC selection panel to President William Ruto for appointment. Kiambu High Court Judge Dora Chepkony had given conservatory orders stopping the appointment of the panel until the matter is heard and determined. Similarly, while all the groups have given names of their representatives to the 9-member panel, the battle in and out of court between Ambassador Koki Muli and Augustus Chalo Muli from the Azimio side on whom between the two should represent the minority party continues. Chalo, who felt shortchanged by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition for forwarding the name of Koki Muli to Parliament for the political party's liaison committee nominee slot, has asked the Court of Appeal to have his name instead presented. Koki Muli has stood her ground. Azimio maintains Koki Muli is the right candidate after meeting the requisite requirements, and since the other nominees in the political party's liaison committee are of the male gender.
Why is the IEBC not being constituted? Because Azimio can't appoint their representative to the panel. Is that something to hold a country hostage for 2 years?
All the parties involved in the formation of the IEBC selection panel have understandably finalized their lists and have forwarded them to Parliament for consideration, compilation and onwards transmission to President William Ruto, whose hands seem tied. The political party's liaison committee, which was to forward 3 names to the panel according to the IEBC Amendment Act of 2024, has nominated Nicodemus Bore to represent the Kenya Kwanza coalition as the majority party, while the opposition Azimio deals with the dispute between Ambassador Koki Muli and Augustus Chalo Muli. Evans Misati is standing in for non-parliamentary parties. The Interreligious Council decided to stick with its previous nominees in the names of Dr. Nelson Makanda and Fatuma Saman after the first panel was disbanded following nationwide demos. The Institute of Certified Public Accountants nominated Andrew Kipkoech to represent accountants. The Law Society of Kenya, which was also given 1 slot, gave the name of Caroline Kituku. The Parliamentary Service Commission settled on Linda Koome for the UDA party and Professor Adam Zolo representing the ODM party.
We need to ask for IEBC to be reconstituted yesterday. That is the only way that we can be able to recall some of the MPs who supported the finance bill, yet the voters told them not to do that.
The process of recruiting IEBC commissioners will start after the IEBC selection panel is in place. The IEBC has been without commissioners since March 2023, when Irene Masit, who was the last commissioner, was forced out. The rest of the commissioners' terms had ended, with others forced to resign. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Nairobi.